So, you're living in a commune with your friends and family, and then, boom, the government literally drops a bomb on your house. This happened in Philadelphia in 1985. Let's talk about the move bombing, one of the wildest, most horrifying, and least talked about acts of state violence in American history. MOVE was a Black liberation group founded in the 1970s by John Africa. Think of them as a mix of Black Panther energy, environmental activism, and back-to-nature living. They were anti-government, anti-police brutality, and pro-communal living. And like any group that tells America to stop oppressing folks, let's just say they weren't well liked by authorities. Now, MOVE members lived together in a row house in West Philly, and their way of life, speakers blasting political messages, kids running around barefoot, composting everything. Well, that way of life had the city big mad. I mean, neighbors were complaining about them constantly, the police were harassing them, and tensions escalated. Now, unfortunately, I only have a few minutes to explain this to you, so let's fast forward to May 13th, 1985, which also just so happened to be Mother's Day. Let that sink in for a moment. So, Philly officials decided they were done with MOVE. The police force, armed like they were about to invade another country, mind you, surrounded the house. They fired over 10,000 rounds of ammunition, doused them with tear gas, and then, because apparently that wasn't enough for them, they dropped a military-grade bomb from a helicopter. The explosion started with a fire that spread through the neighborhood, burning down 61 homes and unaliving 11 people, including 5 children. And here's the kicker, because you know there's always a kicker. Philly officials decided to just let the fire burn. Yeah, they could have put it out, but they didn't. They let it all burn down. Now, of course, the city tried to justify it, but the truth was obvious. This was a massacre, straight up. A whole Black neighborhood was just left in ashes, and no officials were held accountable. The surviving MOVE members were either arrested or left to grieve in a country that never even fucking cared. Now, the city apologized, but that wasn't until 35 years later. And even then, it felt like a PR move more than sincerity. Oh, and did I mention that some of the victims' remains were later used for research at museums without the family's permission? Yeah. Now, what I'm about to say is something I often say in these videos. But the MOVE bombing isn't just a tragic history lesson. It's a blueprint for how America has always treated Black resistance. I mean, the government has always come down hard on people in general who dare live outside the system. Now just add being Black on top of that. And if America can get away with bombing a neighborhood in broad daylight, what makes you think they wouldn't do it again? I mean, hell, it's even happened before the MOVE headquarters. So yeah, if you never heard about the MOVE bombing before today, ask yourself why. Then hit that share button, because history like this deserves to be known. And if you have heard about it, drop a comment for me. Because I'm trying to see how many of us were actually taught this in school. Spoiler alert, not enough of us.